have director-writer Dave Barham of the film Ball and Vase. Dave, how are you today?
All right. Pleasure to meet you, Emily. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure to have you. So, Dave, before I jump into asking you a few questions about your film, would you like to let our live viewers know a bit about your film?
Yeah, the film is it's a live narrative starring Austin Pendleton and Diane Finley, both extraordinary actors, and it's about a 92-year-old magician who is attempting to reconnect with the world one last time before the nearing end of his life. So it's a film that touches upon issues of aging and isolation and loneliness, but also I hope at least an element of hope, and has the theme of magic in it. So Austin plays that particular individual and magician, and it really culminates with him attempting his last magic performance in a bar in Hoboken, New Jersey.
I love that storyline to it. What inspired you to write this film?
Uh, I wrote it. So I grew up in Jersey, so I'm thrilled to be part of the Garden State Film Festival, despite living in Los Angeles now. And well, before I moved out here, I was very close to my grandfather. He was kind of a bit of a patriarch of the family, and I think we probably all can relate to, life gets in the way, and you just don't make that one phone call, and you don't make that one visit home for whatever reason, because you're, involved, or if you're, filmmaker, you're on that next project or what have you. And then of course you eventually get that phone call and it's too late and you're never going to have the opportunity to do so. So it was something that I certainly experienced, and I know a lot of other folks have. So it really was the impetus behind wanting to tell this story where this guy kind of has had his family around him, just for no evil purposes, but just sort of disconnect with him. And he knows he's got little time left, and he can either give up or maybe try to reconnect with others in the world. And that's a bit of the theme of the story.
So, what is your background in directing and writing?
I actually started off more on the management and producing side. So I've been fortunate. The firm I'm with manages a lot of the top talent in the film, television, music industry, and including directors like Martin Scorsese and Michael Mann. So I've had like this incredible folks to be inspired by. And then produced quite a bit of television in related to magic, of all things. Show for many years called Chris Angel Mind Freak, which was on A&E. And then I've also performed magic, what I did have and still do out here in Los Angeles. So just with a couple of more recent projects, wanted to produce and tell our own and my own stories, as opposed to producing other stories, and realized that that's what I wanted to do. I was going to have to write them and direct them myself, and that's what led up to this project, as well as some of the others that we've got coming up.
And we spoke earlier, this is not your first time at the Garden State Film Festival.
Yeah, it's so psyched to be back in the middle of COVID. I guess it was not, so this is 23. In 21, premiered a documentary that I wrote and directed called One All the Way. And we had it's also takes place in New Jersey, in Paterson, New Jersey, which is where I was born. And it's about three old guys searching for the world's greatest hot Texas wiener, which is a weird hot dog concoction you can find there. But then along the way, find out what happened to their hometown of Paterson. So it was great to get the start at Garden State, and it got picked up by PBS and is actually still airing this month on PBS, which is awesome. So great history with the Garden State.
And if you don't mind me asking, when did you end up filming Ball and Vase?
We shot Ball and Vase just about a year ago in December, right in the middle of Omicron, which like I know probably a lot of other filmmakers out there as part of the festival, we're struggling with. But we shot it right before Christmas of last year. So that would have been December wrote it in January around January of 21. 21, and then we shot it in December of 21, and then we premiered it the summer of out here in Los Angeles this past summer.
And what restrictions or obstacles did you have to overcome with COVID in the mix?
Well, we shot it entirely in Hoboken and in North Bergen, and it was because it was the middle of Omicron. Getting permits were tough, so we just ran, gunned it and runned it, as we all say, and it was it was a SAG. We had fully SAG actors, of course, Austin and Diane being, and so we had to comply with all of their the SAG requirements, which didn't make things easy. But we kind of we in some ways we lucked out. The biggest obstacle was the night before we were starting to film. There was me and two other producers. One of the producers tested positive as we were testing the whole crew. We had to shut down for a day, and pretty much all productions in the tri-state area were shutting down at that point. All the rentals were getting returned to the rental houses, and it was one of those really depressing moments because I thought we weren't going to start up again. I was like, we'll never get this going again. We'll never get Austin back. But everybody was just super cooperative. We were supposed to start on a Friday. We came back. We a few people had to leave because of the testing positive, but we got it. The locations worked with us, the actors worked with us, the crew worked with us. We started a day late, and thank God we were able to get it done. It was a 5-day shoot, and it worked out, which was very fortunate.
And how long did shooting take?
It was 5 days. We shot 5 consecutive, very long days. And because it was dealing with issues of aging, I mean, it's not like we had the youngest cast in the world, but nevertheless, we were probably putting in 12, 13-hour shoots, and Austin and Diane and the entire cast and crew really stuck with us. So, somehow we pulled it off in 5 days. It's a pretty long short relative to most shorts. So we did have a lot of content. And a lot of setups and multiple locations, but fortunately we were able to pull it off.
And how did you end up meeting your cast and crew?
Well, some of the crew have brought over from our last film, which we shot in Jersey. But we did originally we were going to shoot. It was, again, because it was the middle of COVID. A lot of people understandably didn't want to travel, especially if you're in their 70s or 80s or 90s. And so I originally was going to shoot it in Los Angeles for New York, and then we weren't going to capture the mood and the tone that we wanted, and also just really wanted to shoot it in Jersey, having shot our previous film in Jersey. And so we just went out. Austin who I think has actually been on the board of honorary advisors to the Garden State Film Festival, as I understand it. So Austin, we used a casting director, a great casting director, Alexa Pereira, who reached out to his agent, and we knew he was getting ready to do a Broadway show. But fortunately, we just lucked out. He responded to the script. It didn't require him to do much travel other than, take a car through the tunnel, and he agreed to do it. So we were super fortunate from that perspective.
And your crew members, are these also people that came?
Yeah, mostly local. Our cinematographer, Edon Menon, who's like just a really guy, is like, just finished a feature. I'm hoping and begging him to do our next feature because his career is totally in the upswing. We brought him from LA. We did bring a few key crew members that I've worked with before in Los Angeles. But I'd say probably 80% of the cast, 80% of the crew and all but one member of the cast were New York and New Jersey based, which was kind of neat.
I mean, I love meeting people through this festival that are from the tri-state area and whatnot. Just it's very local. It's very homey being with this festival. How did you find the Garden State Festival originally?
Uh, I had heard great things about it. I knew, I had thought about Austin Pendleton for another project way back. And when I was researching him, that's when I saw he was on the board of the Garden State. And that's kind of how I found it, ironically, not knowing that this before I even wrote this film. And so it's always, it was sort of on my radar, and saw it had a great, uh, um, obviously great heritage, and also knew, I think they were honoring the year we were in Daniel Baldwin, I think. I can't remember, one of the Baldwin brothers. And there was also a friend of mine was starring in the main feature that was there in 21. So there's just like a lot of uh, uh, touch points that had made me aware of it over there. And then just being from Jersey is like, what are the best festivals in Jersey? And clearly, Garden State's,
Yes.
right there. So kind of did that, which was sort of neat. And then we even, we were fortunate. The film art, this film, Ball and Vase, had got named by Daily Variety and Hollywood Reporter as the both of them listed as the top 10 films to watch for the Oscar nomination. Now, sadly, we didn't get it, which is a little bit of a bummer. But one of the writers of one of those articles was had made an appearance at the Garden State Film Festival. So I feel like there's all these like not maybe so coincidental touch points that have drew us here, and we were excited to screen here. And then when they chose us to premiere our previous film, it's like, oh, this place has got a special place in our heart, because we feel like we got to come back, given what happened with our previous film, One All the Way.
So, what is it that you want your audience members to take away from your film?
Oh, not I like people to draw their own conclusions, and don't necessarily want to be overly preachy about it. But I think in the festivals that we've screened at, in some of the Oscar festivals we've screened at, I think probably the biggest takeaway from most folks has been, there are times in life you just got to take that moment and breath, and don't forget to reconnect with the people that have really been a strong influence in your life. Because again, it's you'll see in the film, when you see it, there's the it's this Ed, who's the character's name's family, just is, for a variety of reasons, life's gotten in the way, and it's yet another Christmas where they're not going to spend with him, not because it's the evil daughter, or they're it's just the way life is. And if I at least was trying to impart anything to myself, was to remember that you just got to make the effort to reconnect with those, or stay connected with those that are important to you, because there's going to come a point in time when you're not going to have the opportunity to do so,
We never think it's going to come, and then
and until it's too late.
do you, just because of all of this experience you're talking about having, do you have any advice for other filmmakers that are just starting out, or maybe just don't have quite the amount of experience that you have?
Yeah, it's just do it. I know everybody says that, and it sounds overly simplistic, but it's just pick up your iPhone, your camera, and you can think about it. I'm like one of those people that writes 1,000 drafts of one thing, and which I guess in some ways is could be good, but it's my style, but also can get in the way with just moving forward and taking advantage of the momentum of an idea. And as I'm sure you just learn so much from that first one, that by the time you're at your third, even if it's like a 2-minute little student film that you've done, by the time you get to your third and fourth, you're still learning and you're still making mistakes, but they just are different mistakes and different learnings. And I don't think anything more valuable than, at least for me, just going out and doing it. And hopefully each step along the way, you're improving on what you did previously.
Well, Dave, thank you so much for joining with me today. Are you going to be at the film festival?
We'll be there, hoping that we'll have a big of our Jersey contingent of cast and crew, and even hoping for the best that we'll have Austin Pendleton and Diane Finley there.
Well, I so look forward to meeting you all in person. Guys, you can all see Ball and Vase at the Berkeley Continental on Saturday, March 25th from 2:45 p.m. to 4:45 p.m. Dave, it was such a pleasure. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thanks a lot.